guys, welcome back. So today I'm back out at the range and I brought out a pistol. It's a Sig 556 classic pistol, which you see here, which also has the SB15 brace on it. This brace is designed to be used where you grip the pistol like this and the brace fits around your arm, and it's meant to be used one-handed like a handgun. This brace has been on the market for some time. It was designed by a military veteran for other military veterans that had disabilities that would prevent them from firing these rather heavy pistols like AR-15 pistols, or in this case the Sig 556 classic pistol, that would prevent them, their disabilities would prevent them from being able to fire the handgun one-handed. And this brace was approved by the ATF for that purpose. Now, because the BATF ruled that this brace was not a stock and did not change the classification of the pistol, meaning it did not make it a rifle, it's always been legal to shoulder the brace. People have been shouldering AR-15 pistols with the short buffer tubes for a long time by putting it in their shoulder and firing it as if it were a rifle. And it's never been illegal because there is no illegal way to fire a handgun, at least not yet. Give the ATF some time and perhaps they'll come up with a way. But currently there's no illegal way to fire a handgun. So since this brace does not change the classification of the firearm, you can put it in your shoulder. Now, a lot of people, myself included, didn't talk about this publicly. Again, I've had this pistol for a long time. I bought it right when Sig put it on the market. I purchased it from Atlantic Firearms. And I knew that then, when I purchased it, what it could be used for. But again, I just didn't talk about it because I didn't want to be that guy that got the BATF to revisit the decision that they had made and take them off the market or take them away from people that already had them. So again, I just didn't talk about it. Well, recently it came to light that back on March 5th, a police officer in Colorado had sent a letter to the technical branch of the BATF asking for clarification about the brace, if it could be shouldered, and if in doing so it changed the classification of the pistol to a rifle, or if it was, in essence, illegal to shoulder the pistol. The ATF technical branch determined in the letter, and I'll put a link to the letter down below in the description, that it was not illegal to shoulder the brace. So that's why I'm making this video. Sig also, prior to this news, had asked gun writers such as myself not to publicize the fact that you could legally shoulder the brace. And again, the only reason I didn't do it is because I didn't want to be that guy that got the ATF to take them all away. But now, after this ruling from the ATF, Sig is now telling gun writers to please spread the word as a public service. Hence this video. So let's take a closer look at the Sig 556 Pistol Classic with the SB15 brace as both a rifle and a pistol. It's technically a pistol. So some of you guys are probably asking yourself, why in the world would you want to buy a pistol and put that goofy looking SB15 brace on it? What purpose does it serve? Why do you do it? Why wouldn't you just do an SBR? Well, first of all, I don't really agree with the NFA laws. I think that they're unconstitutional and illegal. But until they're challenged in court, we must live underneath them. But what the NFA laws require us to do if we want to have a rifle about this sized, we have to file the paperwork, either a Form 1 to manufacture it ourselves, or we have to file a Form 4 to transfer it into our possession, pay a $200 tax, which is what I have a real problem with because that I feel is completely unconstitutional. File that, pay a $200 tax, and then wait, at this point, 8 months to a year to get Uncle Sugar to give us his permission to own a firearm. So, and then, I should also mention that once you have that SBR in your possession, if you want to take it out of your state of residence, But then you have to file more paperwork and wait even more time to get approval just to transport your short-barreled rifle across state lines. Completely draconian and completely unconstitutional in my opinion. But I'll try not to pontificate too much on that. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm very passionate about that, and I really want to see the NFA laws repealed. But until that time, companies like Sig and the veteran that designed this device, that sold the rights to manufacture it to Sig, really are thinking outside the box. And I must applaud both the veteran that designed this and also Sig for taking that bold step of bringing this to market. And I must also say that I am 100% convinced that Sig knew exactly what they were doing when they bought the manufacturing rights to this, and they knew, completely knew, that these things would be used as SBRs, or short-barreled rifles, once they got out into the field. But as I already mentioned, they didn't want us talking about that, and I can understand why, and which is why I haven't until now, until we had this determination letter, somewhat protecting us. The ATF can still change their minds. They have in the past, and they probably will again. But as of right now, there is no illegal way to fire a pistol, and this pistol can legally be fired as a rifle. And it also gives me the ability now to have a really nice handy truck gun that I didn't have to get permission from Uncle Sam to own, I didn't have to pay a tax on, and I don't have to file a bunch of nonsensical paperwork to take it across state lines. I can travel freely in any state that does not ban assault weapons. I can travel freely in any state with this pistol in this configuration, because the ATF again has ruled that this does not change the status of this pistol, making it a rifle. So that's why I really like this 5.56 Classic with the SB15. Now some of you guys may think that the SB15 is kind of ugly. I think it looks very stock-like. I think it looks fine on the pistol. You'll notice it has a big gaping hole in it, and that's something else that we should probably talk about. The legalities of owning the SB15 brace. So let's talk about those legalities I mentioned just a minute ago. When you put this SB15 brace on your AR-15 pistol, or if you buy a Sig 5.56 Classic pistol like this, already configured with one in place, you're going to want to be very careful about making any modifications to the brace itself, because you can put yourself in violation of the NFA laws. Now, I've talked to some people that are quite knowledgeable in the industry, including a manufacturer that manufactures NFA items, and he's advised me that making any modifications whatsoever to the brace itself is a potential gotcha and could land you in federal prison for a minimum of 10 years. It's actually a mandatory prison sentence if you violate the NFA laws. One such piece of advice he gave me was not to remove this Velcro strap from the device, which is how you fasten it to your forearm when you fire it as a pistol. Leave it in place. Don't take it off. Don't duct tape the brace, making it more rigid or more stock-like. And certainly, don't put anything in this hole to fill it in. Don't put foam or something in there. Don't tape it up. Don't do anything that would make this more stock-like, because you could cross that very thin line that this brace walks and step over onto the illegal side and put yourself in jeopardy, which would also cause you to lose your gun rights for the rest of your life. Also, some things I wouldn't do would be to super glue the brace in place. Now you'll notice I've been firing this from the shoulder for some time, and I've not had a problem with the brace walking. There's very little recoil in this pistol, but it might slide forward. Some folks have talked about putting Loctite in there or putting super glue in there. I'd be very careful in doing that. Now, some of these extension tubes, and I'll show one of these in a future video, I'm actually building an AR-15 pistol now with the SB15 brace. But there's some pretty ingenious stuff coming to market where the buffer tube actually has a little flange on it. They'll stop the forward movement of the brace itself and things like that. So there are things that you can do to make it a little bit more useful when you fire it from the shoulder, but there's certain things you will not want to do, most certainly, so you can avoid any type of legal trouble, something you don't want. Just as a size comparison, let me show you an actual SBR. This is a Draco pistol that I filed a Form 1 on. I made a video on this a couple of years ago. Filed my Form 1, paid my $200 tax. Back then, waited about 6-8 months and got my approved Form 1 back, and then I manufactured this SBR. Again, it's a Draco pistol. Here is the Sig 5.56 Classic pistol next to this SBR. You'll notice that they are nearly identical in size. This one, the Sig, I can take across state lines, don't have to worry about filing a bunch of silly-ass paperwork. And this one has to stay in my home state of Indiana. Even if I move to another state, I have to jump through a bunch of hoops just to legally transfer this rifle from Indiana to Arizona or to Texas or wherever I may want to move to. So this thing's really kind of a pain in the rear end to own, and that's why I think the SB15 equipped AR-15 pistol or Sig 556 Classic like this is an ideal solution. I hope you guys found this video to be informative. If you've been on the fence about building or buying an AR-15 pistol or buying a Sig Classic pistol like this equipped with the SB15 brace, I say there's no better time than the present to do it. These are great, handy little handguns. If you guys have any question about anything you've seen in this video, you can ask those questions on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/military arms. Also, please swing by and check us out on Google+. If you're watching this on YouTube, just look for that little Google+ icon up there towards the top. Click that, follow us over there. Also, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.